Hi, this is Trey Passer. Welcome to my review of News of the World. This movie stars Tom Hanks. This is a movie that I saw the trailer for, I think, a while back, and I wanted to see this, so I finally bought the movie. And I watched it yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. News of the World stars Tom Hanks. He plays this Captain Jefferson Kidd. Takes place like 5 years after the Civil War, and he's in Texas. And the reason it's called News of the World is because he's like a storyteller. He gathers papers from all over the world, literally, and he goes from town to town reading it. And of course, they pay him dime, nickel, whatever. And he tells the interesting stories from the newspapers. And I guess that kind of makes sense that they would do something like that, because of course there was not a lot of books and stuff and newspapers around and stuff, so from place to place. So he would go from town to town, and being basically a storyteller doing this. Okay, and on one of his encounters, he comes upon a wagon that's been overturned, and the driver has been hung with a note on him saying they don't tolerate this in Texas. And he goes back to the carriage and he discovers a 10-year-old girl, young 10-year-old girl. And at first, she's standoffish, which you would assume from what happened from the experience. But then he figures out that she's not speaking English. She's actually speaking an Indian language. And later, when he goes through the papers from the wagon, he finds out that she actually is on her way back to be reunited with her family, because she had been kidnapped when she was young by this Indian tribe and basically raised by, and so that's all she knows, really. So she speaks English. She doesn't speak English, and she speaks, that the Kiowa language, and he has to, he tries to take her to the, to the local, army guys, and they say, well, listen, the army scout is gone, the Indian affairs, he's gone for 3 months, he's not gonna be back. So he said, either you can just wait in town, or you can take her yourself. And of course, he's reluctant at first to try to take her, because he just wants to do his traveling thing and go to, he's kind of worn out from all the wars he's been in, and he doesn't really want to travel with a 10-year-old girl. So he kind of tries to put her off on one of his friends, local friends, but that's not going to work out. When they try to kind of civilize her, she, rebels, and then he decides, screw it, I'll just do this. I'll just take her to her parents and stuff. I'll take her with the, and basically this movie is about them traveling on the road from one part of Texas to try to get to another part to reunite her with our aunt and uncle. Okay, and this movie is really enjoyable. And I have special thanks to, Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, but the young actress who plays Johanna, the young girl, I thought she was really good. Her name is Helena Zengel. That's her name, and she plays Joanna. And like I said, she has to speak basically a language. I don't know if they made up the language or she actually spoke it. And then plus she remembers little parts of, because I think she's Swedish, because her name is Johanna, so I think she's Swedish too. So she remembers little parts of that, but she doesn't really know that much English at all. And he basically has to, go through from town to town. And of course, in these towns back then, there's a lot of lawlessness and a lot of unscrupulous people that they have to deal with on the road to him trying to reunite her with their pets. Like I said, this movie is you can kind of tell it's kind of predictable what's going to happen, but it's an enjoyable ride. This is directed by Paul Greengrass, and it's a really good movie. I liked it. It was entertaining, and again, the actress, I like the young actress who plays Johanna. I think she was really good. Her and Tom Hanks, they had a nice thing, and Tom Hanks is really good as this guy. You can tell he's war weary, and his thing that he gathers his papers around, and he tries to pick out the most interesting story to read to the town folks to keep them entertained and stuff. And he goes from town to town, and we learn a little bit of his backstory too along the way. And again, the things they have to go through are pretty interesting in this movie. And like I said, you can pretty much kind of figure out what's going to happen. But I enjoyed it again. I like the chemistry between Tom Hanks and the young actress. I thought they worked well off each other. Okay, and there's a few supporting characters that you see here and there, but for the most part, it's just those two characters, and I thought they did a really good job. Okay, and like I said, it gets emotional at points, but like I said, it's fairly predictable. But I enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely would recommend it. News of the World. Okay, and I think that young actress is really talented, and hopefully she'll be in other things, because I think she did a really good job. I don't know if this is her first movie or not, but she, I think, did a really, really good job. Again, she has to play this shy, reluctant, girl who doesn't really speak English, and she has to try to communicate with, Tom Hanks's character, and exist in this world where she really only wants to basically go back to the Indians that she was raised by. So she doesn't really want to go back to a family that she doesn't remember. But again, the journey to it is really good, and I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give Tom Hanks' News of the World. I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I really enjoyed it a lot, and I definitely, like I said, it's predictable, but it's still enjoyable. And again, Tom Hanks is always likable, and I think the young actress did a really good job in it. So definitely 7.5 for me. Definitely enjoyable. Anyway, let me know what you think of this movie, News of the World. If you've seen it, what do you think of it? Feel free to leave comments down below. I have links to my social media in the description box: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Also have a link to my other channel, All Views and Opinions. So you check that out as well. Also have a link to my Patreon channel. Again, I want to say thank you to my patron. His name will appear in this video somewhere, and I want to say thank you to him for supporting me. And again, my Patreon channel is only $5 a month, and tons of content on there. Just follow the link down below, and you can see all the content that's on there. Okay, and I'm always adding content to it every week. And okay, it's truly enjoyable. And again, I enjoyed this movie a lot, and I definitely recommend you rent this, see it. It's really worth watching. Again, really enjoyable movie for me. Anyway, let me know what you think down below. And this is Trey Pastor saying so long, and take care.